Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Bible in a Year. My name is Natalie, and today we are on day 337. Welcome to the channel. We are once again on location in Minnesota, but I have had to check out of my lovely room, and I'm now in the kids' apartment while they're at work, and I'm going to sneak in a reading while they're gone. So we are going to be reading... If you could see like the tripod, what I got going on in here. Oh, it's going to be funny. So anyways, we are going to be reading out of 2 Chronicles chapter 8. We're going to be starting the book of Nahum by reading Nahum chapter 1. And then we're going to close out our day with John chapter 6, verses 1 through 21. So I've never done this sitting on the floor before. We're going to see if my crickety old body holds out, and the lighting is very strange. But let's give it a go. I love this, impromptu. Just let me know if I start going like this so I can see the words. Just like tap on your screen and say, hey, Natalie, move it down. All right, I'm kidding. Here we go. 2 Chronicles chapter 8. At the end of 20 years, in which Solomon had built Yahweh's house and his own house, Solomon built the cities which Hiram had given to Solomon, and caused the children of Israel to dwell there. Solomon went to Hamath Zobah and prevailed against it. He built Tadmor in the wilderness, and all the storage cities which he built in Hamath. Also, he built Beth Haran, the upper, and Beth Haran, the lower, fortified cities with walls, gates, and bars, and Balath, and all the storage cities that Solomon had, and all the cities for his chariots, the cities for his horsemen, and all that Solomon desired to build for his pleasure in Jerusalem, in Lebanon, and in all the land of his dominion. As for the people who were left of the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, who were not of Israel, of their children who were left after them in the land, whom the children of Israel didn't consume, of them Solomon conscripted forced labor to this day. But of the children of Israel, Solomon made no servants for his work, but they were men of war, chief of his captains, and rulers of his chariots and of his horsemen. These were the chief officers of King Solomon, even 250 who ruled over the people. Solomon brought up Pharaoh's daughter out of David's city to the house that he had built for her. For he said, my wife shall not dwell in the house of David, king of Israel, because the places where Yahweh's ark has come are holy. When Solomon offered burnt offerings to Yahweh on Yahweh's altar, which he had built before the porch, even as the duty of every day required, offering according to the commandment of Moses on the Sabbaths, on the new moons, and on the set feasts, 3 times per year, during the feast of unleavened bread, during the feast of weeks, and during the feast of booths. He appointed, according to the ordinance of David his father, the divisions of the priests to their service, and the Levites to their offices, to praise and minister before the priests, as the duty of every day required. The doorkeepers also by their divisions at every gate, for David, the man of God, had so commanded. They didn't depart from the commandment of the king to the priests and Levites concerning any matter or concerning the treasuries. Now all the work of Solomon was accomplished, from the day of the foundation of Yahweh's house until it was finished. So Yahweh's house was completed. Then Solomon went to Ezion-Geber and to Elath on the seashore in the land of Edom. Hiram sent him ships and servants who had knowledge of the sea by the hands of his servants, And they came with the servants of Solomon to Ophir, and brought from there 450 talents of gold, and brought them to King Solomon. 450 talents. What does that mean? Verse 18. A talent is about 30 kilograms or 66 pounds or 965 troy ounces. So 450 talents is about 13.5 metric tons, folks. Who wouldn't want to be there to receive that? Man, it's beautiful. Okay, let's start the book of Nahum. This is the book of Nahum, chapter 1. A revelation about Nineveh. The book of the vision of Nahum, the Elkoshite. Yahweh is a jealous God and avenges. Yahweh avenges and is full of wrath. Yahweh takes vengeance on his adversaries, and he maintains wrath against his enemies. Yahweh is slow to anger and great in power, and will by no means leave the guilty unpunished. Yahweh has his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. He rebukes the sea and makes it dry, and dries up all the rivers. Bashan and Carmel languish. The flower of Lebanon languishes. The mountains quake before him, and the hills melt away. The earth trembles at his presence, yes, the world, and all who dwell in it. Who can stand before his indignation? Who can endure the fierceness of his anger? His wrath is poured out like fire, and the rocks are broken apart by him. Yahweh is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble, and he knows those who take refuge in him. But with an overflowing flood, he will make a full end of her place, and will pursue his enemies into darkness. What do you plot against Yahweh? He will make a full end. Affliction won't rise up the second time. For entangled like thorns, and drunken as with their drink, they are consumed utterly like dry stubble. One has gone out of you who devises evil against Yahweh, who counsels wickedness. Yahweh says, though they are in full strength, and likewise many, even so they will be cut down and pass away. Though I have afflicted you, I will afflict you no more. Now I will break his yoke from off you, and will burst your bonds apart. Yahweh has commanded concerning you, no more descendants will bear your name. Out of the house of your gods I will cut off the engraved image and the molten image. I will make your grave, for you are vile. Behold, on the mountains the feet of him who brings good news, who publishes peace. Keep your feasts, Judah. Perform your vows, for the wicked one will no more pass through you. He is utterly cut off. On the mountains, the feet of him who brings good news. Let's move in to the book of John, the good news. John chapter 6, 1 through 21. After these things, Jesus went away to the other side of the Sea of Galilee, which is also called the Sea of Tiberias. A great multitude followed him, because they saw his signs, which he did on those who were sick. Jesus went up into the mountain, and he sat there with his disciples. Now the Passover, the feast of the Jews, was at hand. Jesus, therefore, lifting up his eyes and seeing that a great multitude was coming to him, said to Philip, where are we to buy bread, that these may eat? He said this to test him, for he himself knew what he would do. Philip answered him, 200 denarii worth of bread is not sufficient for them, that every one of them may receive a little. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said to him, there is a boy here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 fish, but what are these among so many? And Jesus said, have the people sit down. Now there was much grass in that place, so the men sat down, in number about 5,000. Jesus took the loaves, and having given thanks, he distributed to the disciples, and the disciples to those who were sitting down, likewise also of the fish, as much as they desired. When they were filled, he said to his disciples, gather up the broken pieces which are left over, that nothing be lost. So they gathered them up and filled 12 baskets with broken pieces from the 5 barley loaves, which were left over by those who had eaten. When therefore the people saw the sign which Jesus did, they said, this is truly the prophet who comes into the world. Jesus therefore, perceiving that they were about to come and take him by force to make him king, withdrew again to the mountain by himself. When evening came, his disciples went down to the sea. They entered into the boat and were going over the sea to Capernaum. It was now dark, and Jesus had not come to them. The sea was tossed by a great wind blowing. When therefore they had rowed about 25 or 30 stadia, they saw Jesus walking on the sea and drawing near to the boat, and they were afraid. But he said to them, it is I, don't be afraid. They were willing therefore to receive him into the boat, and immediately the boat was at the land where they were going. It is I. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. And with Christmas coming, this is the time of year that we celebrate his birth. And let's just remember those words that he said when his disciples were afraid. Don't be afraid. It is I. So thank you for joining me on this wild ride in Minnesota. I am so thankful that you all are here. This has been a wonderful time. My heart is overflowing full. I'm so happy that I got to see my kids. And today is my last day, so I have actually been crying for most of the morning. I will confess, and it will probably get worse as the hour draws closer to the plane. So thank you again for stopping by. Come on back for tomorrow, which is going to be day 338. I will be home in a freshly painted house, and we'll see if my younger son and his girlfriend manage to put everything back together. I don't know. We're going to find out. Have a great day, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.